everyone. Welcome back to Beyond the Trailhead. Again, we have an amazing guest this week, Ben McMillen out with Hilltop Packs out in Pennsylvania. And Ben, thank you so much for being on today.
I appreciate you having me.
Awesome. And we just wanted to talk a little bit about what you do. I mean, I see you on the trail. Well, not you on the trail, but I see the products that you create on the trail. I see a lot of people shout you out all the time, but you guys create quite a few things. So without further ado, and let's just get right into it. Go ahead and just tell everybody what your company does and who you are and a little bit of history behind you guys.
Yeah, what we do today is pretty much the same, run the same mission that we had from day one, which was
Yeah.
custom printing one-off items for customers who want to have a little more individuality, who want to just do something a little bit different. I myself have always rode motorcycles or bicycles or just anything you can customize and kind of make it your own. And when you got into backpacking gear, you just had to buy what the store had or what the company had. You
Yeah.
really could customize. So when I got into hiking, um, backstory, also in a print shop next to our photography studio. So I started custom printing the fabrics. And I was just doing it for myself. And I had a lot of fun just kind of making gear and custom printing on some of the fabrics. And it wasn't until I started posting those pictures online, like Instagram, on Reddit. And then people were like, "How are you doing that? Would you do it for me?" And this was 2019. And I kept saying no. We had a very successful studio. My wife works there. I work there. We had
Yeah.
15 photographers. And like, I did not need another job. I just didn't need it. But I had 2 daughters. I had one that was at Penn State, which college is expensive. My other
Yes.
daughter was, in high school, getting ready to finish up, and I was like, "Maybe I can teach them how to start a business." I've been self-employed my whole life. I can kinda teach them how this goes. They've always asked questions, and I was like, "We can build a little business in the basement. You guys run it. I'll buy the machines. I'll design the gear. I'll show you. Bring some of the printing equipment home, and we'll do up right here." And if they would've said no, there would've been no Hilltop Packs. Because again, I had 0 desire to start another company.
Yeah.
Um but then when COVID hit, they effectively shut down our studio. You're photographers, well, there's just
Yeah.
a whole lot of work, especially in Pennsylvania. Really locked down our studio for pretty much a year and a half. So I just had all this free time. And since I was, 1990, I've been doing my own marketing and branding through all the businesses we ever had.
Mhm.
And so I just got to work. I had this free time and we weren't hurting that bad financially yet. Um, we just had free time. So I dug into the Hilltop Packs business and just expanded our reach and just tried to make more videos, more photos, created more products. And then it just exploded through
Yeah.
2020. And that really kind of led us to just so much growth up until where you see us now. This is our third location. And we'll probably be here for quite a long time, but really focus on that one-off item. Of course, we'll do bulk orders, we'll do wholesale orders for the
Yeah.
companies, we do a lot of stock stuff, but what we're known for and what we're really proud of is how well we're able to take one item, even the smallest thing, and efficiently make that customized for the customer and get it back out to them and still make a profit, still stay in business. And
Yeah.
it allows them to be a little bit different on trail.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I mean, my biggest question when I see a Hilltop Pack custom printed thing is, and they're durable. So, being somebody who's printed stuff in the past, like, I guess my first question is, when you started doing that, how did you, I guess through the print shop, you would know how to print something durable on something that you're going to take outside in the elements. So how does it, like, did you go into all these different iterations? Did you have some problems when you were doing it? How did it all begin?
A lot of problems up front, but I knew what I was doing. So we had done a lot of really unique printing, different substrates and
Yeah.
sublimation printing. We did different types of inkjet printing. We did a lot of different things. And so when it came to the fabrics we're gonna start using, I knew that I could print those fabrics in a certain way that
Yeah.
they would not scratch off, won't fade. It's only gonna deteriorate whenever the fabric starts to deteriorate. So I had a lot of experience with printing on some pretty unique things. So I knew this would not be that difficult. But
Yeah.
however, getting a good print on something like Dyneema or
Yeah.
X-Pack or D50T, like all those things take a lot of trial and error, and you
Mhm.
burn through a lot of expensive Dyneema trying to get it dialed in because it is not as simple as putting a piece of paper in your printer and hitting print. It's just not going to
Yeah.
work out that way. To get it really dialed in, to get the colors to look right, to make it bright,
Yeah.
without there's a lot of problems with trying to just test it. And there's no book that you can just like look up, how do I do this? There's no book
Yeah.
out there that's going to explain it to you. So a lot
Yeah.
of trial and error, but I had already had a perfect storm of knowledge in this big fat head of mine when we started. I had printing knowledge, photography knowledge. We had a lot of graphic design knowledge. And so just a lot of things worked really well. And I've been sewing since high school. So all this stuff
Yeah.
just kind of came together thinking I was helping my daughters get through college. And here I am working full time in my own shop now. So yeah, pretty wild stuff. But it's a learning curve. And a lot of it
Yeah.
is self taught.
Yeah. So I guess you make more than just, so I always see like the Diddy bags and stuff like that, but I know you guys make packs and stuff like that. So just run me through. Just pretend I'm an idiot, which a lot of people think I'm an idiot.
Should be
Um,
easy. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I just met you. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. Yeah, just run me through the different products that you guys all specialize in.
Yeah, so we actually try to release at least one new product every month, and whether it's a quiet release or a refresh, or we make a big announcement about it. So, like last year, we released 30 new products last year. This year, we've already
Wow.
released, I think, 4 or 5 new products already this year. And once we get going, we end up doing a lot more. And sometimes it's just a refresh of an old product, or maybe
Yeah.
redesign the way it mounts, or change the size. Like our cell phone pouch, since we've started, it's 6 years ago, or seven, almost 7. We had to keep changing the size because phones keep getting
Yeah.
bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's what I mean. It could just be a complete redesign.
Yeah.
But we make backpacks, dry bags, stuff sacks, fanny packs, and there's a million other little things in there that like stuff sack for your tent poles, stuff sack for even for your fork and for your
Yeah.
spork. And we make a lot of small stuff. The big items would be the food bags. Everybody knows our food bags. A lot of
Yeah.
people have them. Backpacks, we're probably not nearly high volume as much as some other companies that make backpacks, but that's by intention. Uh,
Yeah.
that's there's not as much profit in a big backpack, and we're a small company using U.S. labor. We're not sending these backpacks to Mexico or China to be made. We're making
Yeah.
them right here. So we kind of throttled back our backpacks to a point. So when we sell so many, we kind of stop it on the website, get caught up, and then we put more on the website, and we get caught up. And it's just a vicious cycle of how much
Yeah.
can we really handle with the crew we have and still stay in business and still offer backpacks. But it is not the most profitable thing for us. Now, if
Yeah.
we only made backpacks, I could probably streamline the whole crew to really crank out a lot of backpacks. And maybe we'll get there one day.
Yeah.
But it's backpacks have never really been our main focus. It's really been the things people see like the food bags and dry bags and stuff sacks, and it's small stuff that the average customer can afford to go ahead and spend 30, $40 for a small custom printed thing. And they can take it
Yeah.
on trail, little piece of inspiration. So I
Yeah.
love our backpacks. We all use them, and I would love to sell more at some point, but the main focus is the smaller stuff. We also have
Yeah.
our Apex Giant brand as well that does like the metal stuff, the dog bone, a lot of metal, like titanium, aluminum type stuff.
Yeah.
Probably over 100 products we make between those two brands.
So do you feel like releasing a lot of products? 'Cause I know some people will say, "Hey, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to have 10 products or so." It's hard. I know as a creative person, one as a photographer, when you're a creative person or you have ideas, you just can't stop pumping them out, right?
That's
You
that's
find
that's the
like
problem. That's it.
that
You
kind
nailed
of,
it.
I'm
Yeah,
sure then it kind of holds you back a little bit because you're like, you put out these products and now you can get overwhelmed, or you might overwhelm your staff. Or do you find anything wrong with that as opposed to,
um,
I mean, it's a great thing, I think, personally, that you come out with stuff because it makes people come back to you and see
sure.
what's coming on new instead of, oh, they just do the same thing over and over. But
There are a lot of design considerations you have to keep in mind because it isn't me. You're a creative person, you're a business owner, you kind of get it. Like we're used to that how volatile your life can be from from minute to
yeah,
minute, from trying to change gears and changing priorities. Like I live in that space. It doesn't bother me
yeah,
at all. But if I had to change the way they make things in the sewing shop every day, they lose their mind. So whenever I design something, I try to either incorporate a few parts of something we already make, or
yeah,
at least incorporate how we make something and how that can apply to this new thing. So a lot of the processes are exactly the same. There's a lot of things that we completely go outside the box to start something new, but for the most part, I am keeping that in mind so that the whole crew doesn't just walk in
yeah,
every day like, what's he
yeah,
doing today? So it is. We try to keep it similar, and it just keeps growing on top of itself.
yeah,
And I say that's something we really do consider because that's how you lose money if your
yeah.
staff can't stay efficient and stay on point and stay focused on the job. Then you'll
Yeah.
start losing money pretty quickly.
It's like when I always watch, I refer to Shark Tank every episode.
Love Shark Tank.
Like the sharks, they always sit there and then that one business they've got like a million SKUs and they're like, just focus on that. That is the winner, you know? So, but you've got that good flow in, like you said, you're not trying to overwhelm, you're not coming out with something that's like, oh, now you got to sew completely differently. Everybody's got to learn a completely new technique. And because you do those one-offs, I think it's easier.
Yeah, it's from a business standpoint, there's not a lot of businesses that
Yeah.
survive off of one item for very long. And so I know that. And we're in a space where there's a lot of stuff. And we're backpackers. Me and Tim, we
Yeah.
backpack quite a bit. And every time we're out there, we think of something new. But if you just focus on one product. That products that come out the gate usually do really well, and it's going to fade off.
Yeah.
And from a business standpoint, you have to have fresh things going in and out. From a customer standpoint, if you only have one product, you go to the website, have a 5-year warranty on a food bag. You buy the food bag, I don't see you for 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to squeeze every penny out of every customer
Mhm.
and make them poor, but I am trying to squeeze as much money out of them that we can stay in business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Absolutely.
from a business standpoint, it makes sense to keep growing like that. And we're in a space that we can easily do that. I
Yeah.
get to do most of the designs. Tim does them as well. But yeah, the whole idea of just one product, you have to focus on what works and pay attention to what sells
Yeah.
for sure. So say we have 100 SKUs but the 5 are really our top sellers. Well, that's what you're seeing in all the ads. That's what you're seeing
Yeah.
in almost every email. That's what you're
Yeah.
gonna see on the front page. But once you get to that, and then you add that to the cart, maybe something else will pop up you didn't think about. From a business standpoint, if you're not trying to grow your average order value, even just a little bit, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
If you sell a $50 item and you just sell the $50 item and you have nothing else to kind of go in the cart with it, you're missing out from a business
Yeah.
standpoint. I know it's not, this is mostly business we're talking about, but from a
Yeah.
business standpoint, you have to grow your average order value, at
Yeah.
least maximize it. If you not grow it, definitely maximize it.
Yeah. And I think when you have products that are actually beneficial to people, you're not just tossing people a new thing that they're just going to buy, they're never going to use. Because I've gone over your website many times, and I look and I'm like, I could literally own everything on your website and go out and use it, as opposed to, sometimes you buy something from a website and then there's some completely random thing they want you to buy. That I'm like, you like exit out because you're like, I'm never gonna
Right.
ever
Yeah.
use that product.
Yeah,
Um,
there's some things we've came out with and it just didn't work out, and like it maybe wasn't designed right or didn't sell very well. We'll take it off the website because it just got
yeah,
cluttered up the site. Perfect example. I love winter backpacking. I
yeah,
love doing it, and so but I'm a tent sleeper. I sleep on the ground, and my hand is always outside of my sleeping bag or my quilt. And so I designed this sleeping glove, which Tim made fun of me for doing it. And I just made it for myself. And it's no thumb hole. It's just a big mitten. I can put a
yeah,
heating pad inside there and I sleep with that outside. And he's like, you
yeah.
should put that on the website. And I was like, I think I'll do that. And then we sold like 7. And that was like 2 months ago. And I even made the video for it. I was like, this is the one product you don't need, but I
Yeah,
use it. And I was like, and then we had a meeting. It's like, we're gonna be surprised. It's gonna sell like crazy. And then
yeah.
it didn't. It's so bad.
Well, April Fools is
Yeah.
coming up soon, so you could literally like say, "Hey, we're bringing it back." you
I
know,
still use
this time bigger and better than ever.
I used it Saturday. It's still a good product. It just doesn't have the mass appeal to stay on the website. It's just gonna
Yeah,
clutter it up, and it's very confusing. There's no
yeah.
thumb hole or anything.
That was actually my question. I was about to ask you, like, did you have any products that you're like, man, this is still a good idea, but you had to take it off because it just
Yeah.
didn't sell. Do you have any others that you're kind of like, man, maybe we should actually bring that back over time that you've seen?
Yeah, so a few things. So a chest rig, just like a pouch for your chest, which we used to make. That's actually one of the first things I ever made. We took it
Yeah,
off the site because I wanted to redo it, and I'm still redoing it. We can still keep tweaking it. And then our side pouches, like our side pockets for our hip belt pockets for our backpacks.
yeah,
We keep redesigning those. We haven't released one. It's not even on the website right now. It's probably been 3 years. And just because we keep going back and redesigning it, I don't want to just keep making the same thing everyone else makes. I'm like,
yeah,
well, if I can't make it a little bit better or unique to us, there's no sense making it.
yeah,
So we have not reintroduced our side pockets in a while. We just keep recommending other people to go to other companies. I hate to do that, but like
yeah,
we have some design ideas and we're working on tweaking it. And
yeah,
we use them, but just not ready to release. So yeah, we're not just throwing stuff out there all willy nilly and just
yeah,
we're trying to be intentional with what we release with it.
yeah.
Still make money.
I mean, that's a good point that you kind of made. Is I'm glad that you are willing to. I love people that are willing to like, hey, say we don't make this right now. Go to this person, as opposed to like, we don't make this right now. Sorry, I can't help you. Right?
Absolutely. And one example of that is we do obviously a lot of printing in our food bags, and probably the most popular pet is a dog. Everybody puts their dog on their food bag. We
Yeah.
print a ton of those. Every time I post one on Instagram or whatever, I get an email like, "Do you also make dog backpacks?" And we don't, and I probably never
Yeah.
will. I don't have a dog to try it out on, and Tim doesn't want to walk around with a dog pack on. But a friend of mine, Red Paw Packs, makes them, so I always send them to them. And yeah, I have no problem doing that. What they do in return, don't know. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
To me, if I can make that customer's experience with us a little bit better, even
Yeah.
if we don't make a dime, they're gonna remember that. Their
Yeah.
experience, and it's all about their experience with us. And I'm not just trying to sell product. trying to sell an experience,
Yeah.
trying to sell the story. And if that story is, I'm willing to help you no matter what, that's a good story in my mind.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, going back to the wedding industry side of things too, I think it's the same thing, right? I think, and I worked at Apple for years. It was the experience. Like
Yeah.
anybody can photograph your wedding. Anybody can sell you a computer or stuff like that. It's giving you that great experience that you go, man, this is. I mean, we just got a new Tesla, and I never wanted to buy an electric car until my minivan broke down, and they had such a great deal. And then the experience was so much different than a car dealership that I was like, oh, this is actually fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, the experience is great. So then what did I do? I went and got another one. My mother-in-law wanted one because I was like, hey, this is a great experience. Your car is due. It's a great deal. Get it. So yeah,
We think about that a lot, like every step of the way, even through our website, there's like a lot of little Easter eggs and not everybody's going to catch everyone, or even maybe some people don't see them at all. And
yeah,
I just want it to be unique and different. And it can only happen at Hilltop Packs. Not that someone else can't duplicate it. But I think about that customer experience all the time, even if it's a ticket, if it comes through.
yeah,
And these guys all feel the same way. Tim's the same way. Jen, who runs customer service, is the same. Like they will go above and beyond. And their first reaction is not to sell. The
yeah,
reaction is solve the problem, and if we can solve it, then that's great. But,
yeah,
we wanna be the person that solves it, obviously,
yeah,
but I want the customer experience to come first, and profit will come later.
yeah. So I guess backtracking a little bit, I know we talked about your products and stuff, and you said that you and Tim hike a lot. So what I guess would be your background in hiking and stuff like that? Have you done any large through hikes, or are you kind of a weekend kind of guy?
No,
Or
I'm a definitely weekend guy. I did a little bit of backpacking around high school, but I wouldn't even call it backpacking. It was camping
yeah,
a little bit away from the car and away from the so we actually where we lived, we had a lot of property around us, and all the neighborhood kids, we would get together. We would go camping, maybe like just a half mile in the woods, and
yeah,
we made these wooden frames and tied them to our backs. It was very, very crude, but I wouldn't call it backpacking. So I
yeah,
did that through high school and a little bit after, just camping with friends and having fun. But then I always hiked. I never really got into backpacking until 2016, but I've been hiking and with photography, as you know, like you love
yeah,
getting out there. I'm not really a landscape photographer, but I love doing it.
yeah,
I was just hiking all the time and I was carrying my camera out there. And then I went to Dolly Sods, West Virginia one time and I saw these hikers going in with all this gear. And I was like, they're staying out here. I never even thought
yeah,
that was an option. I didn't really think about it. I knew like Appalachian Trail stuff and I hear about that, but I didn't realize so close to home we had options where we could go out there and just stay. And so I went home and immediately started researching, ultralight or I'm sorry, hiking gear, which led me into ultralight gear.
yeah,
And then I found Z packs. I bought like everything Z packs had.
yeah,
Bought the tent, bought the backpack, bought the food bag, bought everything.
yeah,
And then I begged all my friends to go with me, and nobody would go. And for a year, I just planned. And then I said, you know what? No one's gonna go with me. I'm just gonna go. I went to Dolly Sods, West Virginia, and I parked my car. And my goal was to just. And at first, I'm scared of the dark, or I was thinking I was going to
yeah,
be scared of the dark. So So I'm gonna hike 10 miles, and I'm just gonna sit down and wait for it to get dark, and then I'm just stuck. I can't go back.
yeah,
And that's what I did. I hiked out there like 8 or 9 miles, set up camp, and I just sat down and waited for it to get dark, expecting to be terrified, and I wasn't. It was awesome. I freaking loved it.
yeah,
And then I just went like every chance I had, little by little. I always had a sewing room in my house. I always made a lot of my own gear. Back in the day, I used to DJ and also photography. So I made a lot of cases and carrying equipment and covers. And so I was like, I can make some of this stuff. And I'd start making it around 2000, about the same time, 2016, 2017,
yeah,
2018. But I didn't really start printing until 2019.
yeah,
And like I said, we already owned the print shop. It was just like, let's try this.
yeah,
And it worked. And then it was like, that's how the business really started. But I know I don't have a big elaborate experience with through hiking, nothing like
yeah,
that. My longest day, I think it's maybe only 5 days, but
yeah,
I used to go a lot more than I go now. Now I go maybe 5, 6 times a year. I'm trying to go more with since Tim's here now. Tim used to work remotely.
yeah,
This year I'm on track to do way more than that. But usually, if people come from out of town, I'll go do an overnight nighter with
yeah,
them if they want to. We just did that on Saturday with a guy that came up from Alabama. Um, Through hike is kind of it's a dream. I don't know that I'll ever
yeah,
do it. We have several businesses we own. We own Hilltop Packs. We own Apex Giant. We own a coffee roastery. We also own a coffee shop up the street. We still own a very active photography studio. But I have good people in place to run all those businesses. Even
yeah.
Hilltop Packs, we have a general manager, so I can get away. But for a through hike, man, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a like a lofty goal for myself too, is
Yeah.
maybe when my kids are all gone, and maybe, but yeah, I'm more like 150 miles max
Yeah.
is mine. Even that's kind of pushing it, because you're gone for quite a bit when you run a business and everything. So,
Yeah.
um, well, that's great. So I guess I wanna kind of roll over into kind of what maybe an oh crap moment would be when you were building your brand, and I'm sure it could be all
Several.
the crazy one-offs that you had to do before you figured it out, or you might have thought of something already. But what is a oh crap moment for you guys?
I think our biggest, decision, the biggest like, "Oh, crap, we have to make a decision here," was pretty early on. I think around 2021, we were still in our shop uptown on High Street, a much
Mhm.
smaller shop, small team of just like 4 people, and we got word there was gonna be a Dyneema shortage, and we knew, um, rips up on the roll, Dutchware
Yeah.
gear, everybody was telling us, "Hey, here's all we have. We're not getting any more for like a year." And, I'm coming off of COVID, which used up a lot of my money because
Hmm.
I didn't have a paycheck for a while.
Yeah.
And so, me and my brother, brother works remotely now, but he used to work in the shop. So we all sat down and like, hey, we could be out of business because we were only using Dyneema back then. We weren't doing
Yeah.
hardly anything else, Dyneema and some X Pack. And if we can't get Dyneema, we're effectively out of business. And here's how much we have access to across all these companies, plus one that's in Germany. And so I have it calculated out. It was going to be like $98,000 to buy all the Dyneema I could find.
Wow.
And I went in and I basically cashed out on my savings, and I cashed out some investments, and I was like,
Wow.
"We're all in here." Like, if we
Yeah.
because we had been growing the business at this point really fast, and I had already taken out a lot of money out of savings, a lot of money out of investments. So, like,
Hmm.
at this point, that literally drained almost everything else we had left to grow this company, to keep this business going. So it was a big risk. But we had a meeting, and I know it was my money, but I made everybody kinda make this decision, like, we could do this and we could still fail.
Yeah.
We could do this and spend all this money, but if it works, no one else is gonna have Dyneema for a while, and
Yeah.
we'll have it, and that was the best decision we ever made. We bought all the Dyneema from, I think, Dutch and from Ripstop by the Roll and from this place in Germany, and then we got around and we have pictures of it. We just have this massive rolls and rolls and rolls, and then we had this tiny little cutting room, and the room was just flooded with Dyneema.
Yeah.
And that probably accelerated us because a lot of other small companies didn't have access to Dyneema
Hmm.
anymore. I hate to say that we kind of sucked everything dry out of the
Yeah.
industry, but the big players still had it. Z-Pack still had their Dyneema, but like the
Yeah.
guys that had to rely on other businesses to get the Dyneema like us, we pretty much shut them out by buying everything.
Yeah.
Kind of a cold move, but it had to be done for us to keep
Yeah.
moving, and it worked. And I think that's one of the reasons we grew so much that one year is we got so much
Yeah.
other business from companies that didn't have it.
That's wild.
It
I
was
don't know if I could
ballsy.
take a risk like that.
It
How about
was, we had so much
that's
growth up
crazy.
to that point that
Yeah.
all the trend lines was showing us that we're gonna keep growing.
Yeah.
And this is my first business, and all the signs were there that we could do this. And so it didn't feel like that big of a risk to me. My wife wanted to murder me, but we didn't lose our house, so we're good.
Yeah. Okay, so going into that, then what's one thing about running an outdoor business that, ended up being hard that you didn't think was gonna be hard?
Backpacking. I really thought I would backpack more. So we've got so busy so fast. I really got into making gear because I really enjoyed backpacking, and
Yeah.
the one thing that I really loved doing was probably hurt the most by the business. So I don't get to backpack quite as much as I
Yeah.
want. In the past, being a wedding photographer, I would go backpacking during the week, and because I worked every weekend. Well, now I work every weekend and I work all during the week here in the shop. So I'm trying to take more time to go backpacking now, and like, again, especially since Tim's been here for
Yeah.
almost a year now. We're going out more together. We can go during the week; it's not that big of a deal. We can cut out for even
Yeah.
just an overnighter. But the one thing I was not expecting was how much my hobby would be hurt by my business.
Yeah. That's great. So, well, I guess what would you say to somebody who's, coming out in the outdoor industry that's like, "Hey, I love backpacking. I love the outdoors. and I have this great idea for this product." And next thing you know, they create it, how can you tell what can you tell them to kind of maybe help them stay in the lane of being able to stay in the outdoors at the same time?
Um, I don't know that you can. If you really with any business, if you're gonna grow it, there's a time to grow and there's a time to be
Yeah.
aggressive and there's a time to dig in and put everything else aside. And you're gonna have sacrifices in your life. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be your hobbies.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it for the right reasons, it's all worth it. Like it really is. If you really enjoy being self-employed, it is totally worth it because you
Yeah.
still have the flexibility to make it happen. You may not
Yeah.
make it happen. It may not work out, but you have the flexibility to know that it's there. If I'm going to
Yeah.
take an hour-long lunch, I can go do that. If I want to take a day off and go spend it with my kid, I can do that. Do I get to do that often? Not really, but the flexibility is there.
Yeah.
But again, for the right person, it's all worth it.
Yeah.
So you really can't plan if you're just starting out and you're trying to plan your time off already, you're gonna
Yeah.
fail. It's
Yeah.
not gonna happen.
No, that's good. I think people have to understand that there's a grind that you have to do that eventually you'll be able to make past, that you'll be like, you'll look back and go, man, I didn't sleep at all
Yep.
for what I remember there's a year and a half where I slept for maybe 2 or 3 hours a night for like a
Oh
year,
yeah.
year and a half. And then I finally got over the hump of like, man, now we're doing great. And now I'm getting rest again.
Yeah, and but a lot of that
Um,
is fueled by excitement. So it's not
yeah,
really a drag or a downer. Like that early period where you're just grinding and hustling. It's not a negative. It's
yeah,
I look back on that very fondly, where we really had to grind and really had to hustle. And where our shop used to be, well, obviously used to be in my basement. But after that, we was up the shop uptown. We had our sewing shop on the third floor. We had our print shop in the basement. So we had to credit on like 3 flights of stairs 20,000 times a day. And that
yeah,
was the little things like that. We knew we would grow out of that, but we had to just grind through it. We knew this it was temporary. All of us were still excited. And yeah, there's going to be a period of just grinded, but it's exciting. The no
yeah,
sleep thing, a lot of that is fueled by your brain is running 500 miles an hour. You can't wait to work again tomorrow.
yeah,
That will wear off at some point, and you'll hopefully reach a point where you can slow down
yeah,
and put some kind of a schedule together and then enjoy your
yeah,
life a little bit. But that's
yeah.
not for a while.
I wonder if that helps out people to think, or it makes me think anyways, like, yeah, if you're not doing it and you're not excited about it, maybe you need to check yourself to see if you need to be doing it, or if
Mm.
sometimes you are and you do get that lull where you're excited, you're going to do a lull. That doesn't necessarily mean you should quit it though, right? You got to have
Right.
to come out of that sometimes. So
Yeah, if something isn't either working or it's not exciting anymore, you may have to pivot or change direction. Doesn't mean you have to shut the business down, but it could
yeah,
be a different product or a different idea or a different service. I talk to business owners all the time. I'm involved in a lot of different boards in our community, and so I tend to talk to a lot of small young business owners. And when people come in and want to talk to me, I can tell right away if their head's in the right space. If they're talking
yeah,
about the product, we're talking about the customer experience, they're talking about and how excited they are for what this could potentially change in their industry. Those are the right things to be thinking about. If they come in talking about, I want more money, I want more freedom, I want more
yeah,
time with my family, I want more vacations, I'm like, that person ain't going nowhere. That
yeah,
is not the mindset of a business owner. It's just not.
exactly.
You don't have to be a business owner that just only works and then ignores your family. It's not quite what I mean, but man, there's a lot of sacrifices, and you have to have people around you that are going to understand for a while. This is going to be really difficult and really
Yeah,
tough. And luckily, I have that. I have a great
yeah,
support team around me. My family, my wife, my kids are all very understanding, or maybe they lie to me. I don't know, but they have all made sacrifices for me. And yeah, so I couldn't be here without them.
yeah. No, that's great. I mean, we just came back from a family trip that we told the kids, we were like, hey, for 2 months we got to work real hard, but then we're going to go on this great trip. You're still going to see me those 2 months, but mommy and daddy are going to have to work a little bit more,
Yeah,
but we're going to have this amazing, trip together. And then we had the most amazing trip as a family.
awesome.
Not like I neglected them for 2 months just so I can have a week with them, but
How old are your kids?
so my oldest is 18, and then my middle daughter, she's 15, and my youngest is 13.
So they grew up
So
through they see the work that you're doing, and once they get to a certain point,
yeah,
they don't care what parents are doing anymore. But I mean,
yeah,
they're probably at the age where they can at least recognize what
yeah,
hard work does and what it means. So that's
yeah,
good.
yeah. And my oldest daughter now, she's working she's doing social media for a company that's in the outdoor industry,
Nice.
and it's funny because I want to pick her brain sometimes on like, oh, what exactly are you guys talking about? Because I'm so interested in the social media side of things. But she's like, just leave me alone, daddy. And I'm like, but I know so much about
Yeah,
outdoors, and I want to know what you're doing,
yeah. I,
But she
I,
comes to me every once in a while, so
I want to steal that information too.
yeah. All right. So going into maybe from family to your team, how do you keep your team? Like, is your team? Do you have a lot of them are in the outdoors, some of them in the outdoors? How do you keep them connected to like the original vision of the company?
So really, none of them except just me and Tim are really the only ones. Everybody here has done day hikes with us, and that's not
Yeah.
an issue. None of them have done backpacking overnight. Some of them have expressed some interest, and Well, I
Yeah.
take that back. My brother's gone, but he works remote
Yeah.
now. I really pick people out based on that sounds crazy, but like their personality. Are they going to care about the team around them? Are they going to
Mhm.
care about the company? I don't always need like the best worker or the best sewer or the best this and that. Like I want
Yeah.
people who care about each other. I want this team to stay together. We have a lot of moving parts here, and if we're not all watching each other's backs and with good intention, I'm not saying you have to watch someone else's back and
Mhm.
point the finger at them when something goes wrong. Um, so like everybody here has been here from the beginning. It's very low turnover rate, which has been great. Our office manager, I'm sorry, our production manager, Amy, who pretty much oversees everything. She ran a hospital, I'm sorry, a doctor's office before this.
Okay.
And she had worked for my photography studio for years as a second shooter. And I just knew she was dedicated to that doctor's office. And I said, if I ever had a place to make my own photography for you, like in the office, I'm hiring you. And she was like, no, I don't want to. But fast forward to this business when it started, I knew I was going to keep growing. I knew I'd eventually want to have like a manager run the whole shop for me. And so didn't hire anybody yet. It was just me and my daughters. And so I started talking to Amy. I said, "You got to come work for me when I move the shop out of the basement one day." And she's like,
Mhm.
"Nope, I'm not doing that." And I said, "Yeah, you are. I'm gonna teach you how to sew, and you're gonna be a production manager."
Yeah.
And like I begged her for 3 months as we're building out the new shop. And it was like Friday. I said, "Hey, you're coming to work Monday." And she's like, "I'm not." And she's like, and then she showed up on Monday. Like and knew I didn't even like second guess
Yeah.
I was going to convince her to come. And I think up until the last minute, she was still on the fence. And then she's been here ever since, and it's been great. And
That's great.
she's been the perfect fit. And then um, I'm sorry, Jen, who runs our customer service, also works for our studio. She runs customer service here. Then we hired her sister, and basically we hired them originally because they both worked at Bob Evans, and they walked really fast and they were hustling at work. And I was like, my wife, I said, I'm not going to walk.
Yeah.
My wife went over and talked to him and said, hey, we may have a job for you as a second shooter working at our studio. And that led to Hilltop Packs.
Yeah.
So just really paying attention on people who interact with their coworkers and how they interact with their work and just not bitching and complaining and
Yeah.
being slow and mopey. And so I handpicked the team. Like we didn't just like
Yeah.
put a notice out we're hiring. We go around and we cherry pick and headhunt and find people that are going to fit. And then
Yeah.
Tim's right next to me over here. He was someone who I'd followed for a while on YouTube, and he just happened to show up here at the shop one day. After a short communication online, he wanted to take a little tour. And within 5 minutes of meeting him, I knew I was going to hire him one day to work for Hilltop remotely, creating content.
Yeah.
And that led to us offering him a job here in the shop. He drove
That's
across the
cool.
country to get here. So really handpick the right people based on, at least in my mind, how would they treat each other?
Yeah.
And we could teach the rest.
That's
The
the
long answer. Sorry.
no, that's the primo answer that I think people run out there to grab the first person that they can just get that knows how to do the job, and then they run into so many headaches instead of there's an old saying, I can't remember, you can teach something to something or whatever, but it's easy once you get that core team in there and you can all work together real well, you can easily teach somebody
Yep.
something. So I mean that's great.
Yeah, I can teach you
so
sewing skills. I can't teach you personality traits. It's not
yeah.
going to happen. So.
I need to send my daughter your way because she's sewing all these shirts. And my mother-in-law, she owned a cleaners for years. And so she knows how to sew, but she just doesn't have time to teach my daughter how to sew. So she's sewing all these college shirts with all these layers and these like Pinteresty kind of sweaters. And she's been selling them on Instagram. As she makes one, she'll
Very
put them
cool.
on and sell it. And I'm like, I took home economics, years ago, and I know how to sew and I know how to use a sewing machine, but I'm like, we have this like industrial sewing machine in the basement from when she had the cleaners. I'm like, let's teach her how to use that so
Yeah,
she could
they're
sew.
not that difficult,
Yeah.
especially the older manual ones. It's pretty simple to work on and pretty simple to maintain. I'd started the same way. I took a home economics class in high school. Absolutely fell in love with the idea that I could make something that
Yeah.
didn't exist 5 minutes ago. I mean, I went home. I played football. I played sports. Went home and told my dad I was taking a sewing class. He's like, "What?" I was like, "Well, the teacher's hot. The teacher's very
Yeah.
cute." He's like, "Okay, I
Yeah.
understand now." So then
Yeah.
I took the class. Came home and said, "Dad, oh, will you buy me a sewing machine?"
Yeah.
He was very, very confused. He's like, "We just came from football practice. So you want a
Yeah.
sewing machine?" I was like, "Yeah." It's like my aunt, I think Linda or somebody gave me the sewing machine, and then I bought one when I moved out. I've always had a sewing room ever since, and it
Yeah.
is a great skill to have, and it's not that complicated. It can get complicated, but it doesn't need
Yeah.
to be. But it is.
Yeah.
I recommend anybody give it a shot.
That's cool. Well, I guess, can you tell me then, from going from sewing to from that kind of stuff. But was there something you believe in the outdoor industry that others might not agree with when it comes to creating gear, or it might be controversial, but maybe it's just something that's just
Um,
irks you a little bit?
I don't know if it's controversial or not, but man,
Yeah,
and Tim hears it every day too. We really try to keep design simple. We
yeah,
keep the product simple. Simple is lighter. Simple is easier to use out in the field.
yeah,
The more complicated it is, again, we're winter backpackers out, and when it's cold, things can be cumbersome and more complicated. I want it to
yeah,
be super simple, simple to repair, simple to sew, simple to
yeah,
build. But really, it's also just a weight thing. So when people every day we get messages like, "Can you put extra straps on this? Can you do this to that? Can you?" And they have these intricate designs. "Can you put more pockets on your backpacks?" Like,
yeah,
you can already go to Walmart and get a 5-pound backpack with 100 pockets in it. That's
yeah,
not what we're doing. So, not really controversial, but I know it's confusing for customers who see we do custom work, and they want something completely elaborate, which is gonna be 10 times heavier,
yeah,
and they're gonna realize the more pockets you have, the more crap you're gonna try to take.
yeah,
Doesn't really work out, and I don't wanna tell a new hiker you're doing it wrong.
yeah,
Most hikers that have hiked a little bit kinda start to get it, less is more, less is better,
yeah,
and then once you get going, then you're asking the right questions, and so it's not really controversial, but it's hard to explain to somebody why you don't need what you're
yeah,
asking for. It
yeah,
people walk in the shop and say it to their face is even harder. When they come in like, "I want this for my whatever." I'm like,
yeah,
"Do you really need that? Let's talk about this for a second."
yeah,
So it's harder face
yeah,
to face, but, that's
yeah. When
not
you
a
get those
controversial.
extras, when you get those extras on the bag, you maybe use it once, and then you realize when you're camping, you're just like, I just want to toss it in the bag. And if
Yep.
you know the pattern that you're going to throw it in the bag, you know exactly where everything is. And I think when we shoot for certain backpacks, or certain companies, the first thing they tell me is, "Hey, I don't want it to look like." One reason they hire me is because I know what I'm doing. I'm not just a photographer who's gonna doesn't know backpacking, so I'm not gonna have
Right.
straps laying all over the place. Or
You have some input.
yeah, exactly. And when they'll send me a picture. Hey, don't make my picture look like this, because you see certain backpack companies or whatever, and they'll have the photographer will have straps just hanging out all over the place and everything else, and the Nalgene bottle hanging off the edge, full of water, banging the person in the leg as they're walking. I'm like, that's not realistic. That looks good for Instagram, and to some degree, you do have to market for that Instagram crowd, but also function,
Yeah. Well,
over
you'll
form.
get a
So
kick out of this. So you're a photographer. I'm a photographer.
yeah,
We have a full studio. We have, we used to shoot a lot more commercial stuff
yeah,
before COVID than we do now. But from day one, from Hilltop, we decided we're never going to use professional cameras. We're only going to use our cell phones. And the biggest thing in my mind, anyway, is I want our pictures
wow,
to be relatable and different than everybody else. If I
yeah,
took professional photos like everybody else, we would look like everybody else. We sat down. We're like, okay, we have one shot to be. When I say we sat down, I mean me and my daughters and my wife. I was like,
yeah,
I want it to look different. I want like it's a small company. I want like it's a
yeah,
small team in a garage in a basement. And so how can we do that? I don't want if we look too professional, we're going to miss out on an opportunity to be a
yeah,
small company. So only use cell phones. And that was initially our plan. And to this day, that's all we do. We have never taken a professional camera. I think we've did one professional video shoot, one professional photo shoot,
yeah,
professional camera. Other than that, all cell phones every day, all day, just to be a little bit different and to be a little more um, not approachable, but, so do you have
relatable, I
really
guess.
yes, relatable, exactly, yes.
Yeah,
So we're taking the same photos anyone else can take. Yes, we're using a light box, we're doing all that, but again, we're just using and cell phones keep getting better and better, so
yeah,
as our customers' cell phones are getting better, our pho it's we look like we're them. We look like we're just a
yeah,
small team, so we always wanna look small up front, function big in the back.
hmm
That's kind of the goal, so but I have a lot of photographer friends who are like, "Why are you not" like, that's hard to from a marketing standpoint, it has worked.
yeah,
We're fast, we're efficient, we made the product now, we took the photo now, we posted it now. We don't have to get the cameras out, get the lighting out, we have soft boxes, we have lighting around the shop
yeah,
if we need it, and very crude lighting, like, this is just a lamp. If I wanna have certain
yeah,
lighting for certain things, we have lights on every machine, for that reason. If we're gonna do some kinda lighting on a, piece of gear on a certain machine, we can
yeah,
do that. But kinda crude, nothing
yeah,
too over professional. So, I
yeah.
don't know if you, saw that or not, you're like, "Why these pictures suck so bad?" If he's a photographer. It's because we use
No,
our cell
no.
phones for everything. Yeah, everything. It's
I think
intentional.
people always want to be relatable. The one gentleman I talked with, his bags, he started out. wanting to make it look professional, and then realized that he had to go the relatable route, because you can make yourself look like a big business, and then
Miss out.
you miss out on all this. Oh, people love that connectivity with the company. I love your social media content and everything else, where it's you, instead of, I think even these big companies, you can kind of see them trying to reverse the marketing stuff that they used to do, where it
Yep.
was always like, look at me with this. And to some degree you need it, depending on what your industry is,
Yeah.
or what your product is. Like, Black Diamond, obviously, like, you need to have people want to strive to go to Everest, right? But 99.9% of your people aren't, but they're going to buy it thinking they're going to get that. But then you have to have that relatable side of it. So
Absolutely. Like,
yeah,
well, like say Hyperlight, or a company who doesn't really make a lot of their own gear. They're marketing, basically big marketing firm. So that makes
yeah,
sense to do that, to get the gear and do the big professional shoots, because
yeah,
that's what you're doing. For
yeah,
us, we're making it here. That's part of our story, is our people. And so
yeah,
if I can put our people in the photos and the videos, that's our story. If
yeah,
we're talking about the Black Diamond poles, I don't know if they make them in their own shop or if they get made somewhere else. So they have to do the big photo shoot, and
yeah,
that works for them, and that makes sense, and that's what I would do too. If I was them, it's
yeah,
100% what I would do.
yeah,
For us, the only way we could tell our story, that the way I wanna tell it, is fast, efficient, quick, and down and dirty with your phone,
yeah,
and use our own people with where the gear is actually being made, and
yeah,
that's our story. So I know I get it, at a certain point that may change, but, for the foreseeable future, we're doing it the same way.
yeah. I mean, I think that what you just said is key. Is you have to get it out there quick. It's almost like, it's like with the news, right? The news almost these days just gets it out so quick on all the news channels, and it's easier to redact something than it is to do the actual research. And with social stuff, you're like, okay, I got to get this product out before someone else does it, but then two, like, you can just get overwhelmed. With you guys having so many SKUs too, it can be like, okay, if we do a professional shoot, it's going to take forever to get
Yep.
everything finalized. When we so we have this white dad, Asian mom stereotypes social media channel that my wife grew to 105,000 followers right now.
Nice.
And it's awesome. And at first I would always try to professionally shoot the videos. And then we were like, no, it has to be relatable
Yep.
and everything. So now we kind of will mix in a little bit of the professional side with like you said, it's just like a little light, but that lighting is just enough to make it look like you just did a little bit more than just whatever. So
Yeah,
yeah,
like right now, she's on a webcam right now. Like I know
yeah,
you use professional DSLR, I'm assuming, or
yeah,
sorry, mirrorless camera maybe.
yeah,
But we researched, again, just fast, efficient, quick.
yeah.
I don't have to think about it. Like, I have these little, they're Insta360 webcams, but the
Oh, I
lighting
know
makes it.
that camera.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have them. I have them at home. I have them on several machines here, so I can do this interview in any room.
yeah,
Just so we get, like, right now we're like in our laser room where everything gets cut. And the
yeah.
other side's where the sewing machines. I have one over there, so I can keep changing where I do interviews, so it mixes it up a little bit. But again,
That's
make
cool.
it relatable. If I used,
Yeah,
your setup looks awesome.
thank you.
Yeah. So if I did that, I'm like, well, that's a little. It's a sewing
Yep.
shop, and so I'd
Yeah,
I want the video to look good, as
yeah,
possible, but the lighting's everything. If I turn the
yeah,
lighting off, you know, it would look like that.
yeah.
So
No, yeah, I set this whole setup too because I needed I work with a lot of companies, but then I also wanted to make it look professional enough that people would a little bit take me seriously
yeah,
at first too. And then we're eventually I've started recording a couple on here, but it's like doing some gear reviews, but just very basic gear reviews, nothing crazy, but just to let it make it pop a little bit for YouTube and stuff like that.
yeah, it looks
And
good.
I have some fake grass on the ground as well, so I can do like tent reviews in here
Nice.
instead of just going outside, or I can do sleeping bags and stuff like that too. So there's a lot around the corner. It's trying to get it. Like, I realized what we were talking about, getting it out and
Yep.
getting it fast, as opposed to, it's better to get it done than perfect
Yep.
kind of mantra
100%.
is, I'm just going to record it as is. And when I first started doing it, I was like trying to shoot all this B-roll and everything else, realizing, you know what, I just need to get it out there because people just want to hear about certain products that they never get to see reviews for, or hear a review from someone other than the company putting out a video for it. So that's cool. No, I'm learning so much again. I learned so much from everybody when we when we talk to them, and you're like a big cacophony of knowledge. So
Big hit.
yeah. So I guess switching gears a little bit, then what would be a place for your gear that you've seen? So you've had it for a while. I know that you have some unique things. What's one place that you've seen your product over the years that's in the most unique place you've ever seen it before or heard about it being?
Um, there's a whole scene of like moto camping that I know our gears, being used, and I'm trying to
Okay.
find a way to kind of break into more like side industries or side hobbies besides just
Yeah.
ultralight backpacking. So anytime I hear someone using it, whether it's for kayaking or moto camping, I get excited. I wish I could kind of maybe focus on some of those channels as well,
Hmm.
but it's difficult.
Yeah.
Like our Instagram is backpacking. It's ultralight
Yeah.
backpacking. It'd be hard to kind of mix that up, but yeah, but people stopping all the time that use our gear in different ways. Guy, this backpack here locally is a friend of mine. He uses it for a laptop bag. Not very ideal. You could buy a better laptop bag at
Yeah.
Walmart, but yeah, that's probably about it. Just different
Yeah.
industries and different hobbies that I wasn't quite thinking about that I would hope to keep.
Yeah.
Want to keep growing, like bike packing and
Yeah.
moto camping and things like that, or something I'm
Yeah.
excited about, but haven't figured out how to grow in that way yet.
Yeah. Do you have a this is kind of, I guess, a funny thing. I'm just thinking, like, do you have a limit on what you can print on the bag? You're like, hey, sorry, we don't print
Well,
that.
and we actually
I'm sure
talk.
you've probably gotten stuff in
We
before that you're like,
have. We
whoa.
see, Tim will laugh here at this one. So we see a lot of man butts, there's a lot of naked butts on there. Seen some full frontal stuff. Our whole rule is we're not the police, as
Yeah.
long as it's not like, harmful or look like
Yeah.
it's, very aggressive. I remember in the past, I think before Tim came, we had a one we declined to do. It was like really aggressive, like,
Yeah.
and I love guns. I'm a gun owner, but it was
Yeah.
really aggressive guns and
Yeah.
against the government, stuff like that. I was like, this is a little too, I don't want
Yeah.
nothing to do with that. And we just canceled the order. Something I messaged like,
Yeah.
it's a little too much. Political stuff gets a little weird.
Uh-huh.
I have my point of view. I'm not trying to squash someone else's, but put my label on either side of the fence doesn't feel great. We do it, but there's times we take our label off. We don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you put something on there for your team,
Yeah.
political team, if we don't really think, if it sounds kind of weird, we'll take our
Yeah.
label off. Just send it to you. So
Yeah.
but the naked butts, we see more of that than we probably should. Poor Tim doesn't sleep at night.
He just dreams of naked butts all
Naked
night
butts,
long.
yeah, naked butts, and before him, Christian worked for us since the very beginning for 5 years,
Yeah.
and, yeah, that poor guy saw all kind of stuff, and, yeah. Yeah, there was,
That's
was it
great.
the front he had, like, a whole bag of a guy, the whole full frontal was, like, just different poses, there's a lot of man genitalia. We printed that one and got it through,
Yeah.
we should have strategically put a label on every little place,
Yeah.
but we didn't. So, yeah, it's,
That'd be funny if it went through customs and the customs is like, "What is this?"
this is the strangest porn ever. Um,
Um,
yeah.
all right, so I guess going next question, I got 2 more questions, and I'm gonna go into kind of our lightning round of just kind of 10 quick questions to kinda get to know you a little bit more. Um, if what does success look like for you now, and has it changed since the beginning?
So, again, we grew really fast and came out the gate swinging, and I've been self-employed my entire life. I've always enjoyed hiring people and hiring people in our community and keep people working.
Yeah.
So the way I gauge success is how many employees do I have? In my mind, that makes me happy. It's not really a dollar amount. There's plenty of times as a business owner, as you know, things get tight, things get difficult.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times my employees make more money than I do. But I'm pretty well diversified across a few businesses, so I'm not too
Mhm.
stressed about that. But my measure for success is, can I keep people working? Can we make
Yeah.
another position at some point? Can we work towards another, growth in this particular part of the business where we can hire someone else? And that's what makes me happy. It does. And we're a very small community of like 3,000 people. Our county has maybe 30,000 over the whole county. We have a small coffee
Wow.
shop with 14 employees here at Hilltop. At one point we had, I think, 13 people total. Right now we've scaled back a little bit. Only 5 working in the shop right now with 3 remote. Um, just last year was not the best year for us as far
Yeah.
as like our business is still really good. Sales are still really good, but our profit margins got squeezed really hard. And our international sales pretty much went to crap. And our wholesale business kind of went down. A lot of businesses either went out of business or scaled back
Mhm.
what they're buying. So our direct to customer in the US is the same. We're great.
Yeah.
It's all those other areas like the international stuff down 80%, our wholesale down 50%. So last year was just brutal in that way. So we had to downsize our staff, make some changes. And
Yeah.
that part was difficult when my
Yeah.
gauge for success is hiring people. laying people off, I'd literally would go home and I would cry. I'd call my dad and I'd be like, I don't want to freaking go to work tomorrow until these
Yeah.
guys, we have to let him go. So that part's difficult, but yeah. So hiring people is my top line s- gauge for success of how well
Yeah.
are we doing.
Yeah. So going into that, then what's the legacy or impact that you would want to maybe leave on the outdoor space?
Yeah. So with Hilltop, talk about the business specifically. My goal is to grow this business to a certain point where I can sell it back to the employees. I want to grow the
Mhm.
company and make it an employee company, employee owned business. That's what I really want. And one thing we did, we didn't get to do a lot last year, but every year up to that point, we like doing our own trail cleanup. So instead of us
Mhm.
donating money to other organizations to do whatever they're going to do, which I'm sure they do good work, there's plenty of trails in our area and things we could do ourselves where I'm going to pay
Yeah.
my employees. Is they still volunteer, but we're paying them to do it. So we'll take a day
Mhm.
off of work, still getting paid, and we'll go do a trail cleanup. And like I said, we didn't do much of that last year because we just struggled so much getting through the year.
Yeah.
We're going to do more this year, of course. But as far as any kind of legacy for the outdoor industry, I want this to be an employee-owned business that'll keep benefiting the outdoor community, and whether it's trail cleanups or whatever that looks like in the future. So I want it to benefit my employees and the industry at the same time.
That's great. I like that. I like people who want to give back as opposed to just take, take, take. So, all right. So I guess I want to roll into our kind of rapid fire round. 10 quick questions. Some of them will be a little bit longer than one word answer. And if you want to go into them, you can, but just to get to know you and stuff like that. And then I'll kind of give you a part here where we can kind of let you shout out where everybody can find Hilltop Packs, which super easy to do though.
We're
You just have
everywhere.
to Google it. All right. So first question is favorite national park.
Hmm. Well, I'll be honest, I haven't really traveled a whole lot. I pretty much backpack a lot of local stuff, so I don't really have a national park favorite yet.
Okay.
I guess I got to do some more exploring.
Okay. So favorite local park then.
So Dolly Sods, West Virginia is my favorite like state park. I love going down there. We go there quite a bit. Here in Pennsylvania, we have a trail system close to us called Quebec Run Trail System,
Okay.
and then Laurel Highlands Hiking Trail. Those are some of our favorites that are kind of within a few hours drive. But yeah, there's so many places to explore locally that we're not done yet, and so
Yeah.
I don't have any big bucket list of places I want to go. I just
Yeah.
there's so many places nearby we still have to explore before I
Yeah.
keep branching out.
Yeah. I wish I lived up there where you are just because then I'd have snow. I got to travel all the time to find, like, I think I said before we got on that I'm headed to Mount Rainier and Mount Baker, and they're
That's
supposed to
awesome.
get like a snowstorm for those days that I'm there. And so trying to I told my wife I'll stay safe because it's just me and then a buddy of mine who's helping model for me and stuff like that. But um, that's cool. All right. So,
That'll be awesome trip. Send me a link to your photos when it's all done and published. I'd like to see
oh,
it.
absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So this next question, I think I know the answer already because you have a coffee shop, but coffee or electrolyte drinks on the trail?
Ooh, so both. I carry both. I like my
Yeah.
coffee. If I'm by myself, I'll take my little pour over kit, and if I'm with friends, I'll do an instant coffee from a friend of mine's business that he has, and then throughout the day, yeah, I'll do any kind of, you know, I both. That's my
Yeah. Okay. So next one, early bird or night owl?
both. Yeah, as a business owner, late in life, discovered I had ADHD. It makes sense. Get up early, stay up late. Can't help it.
Yeah. All right. Next is biggest splurge you've made for your business.
For the business, probably the laser cutter, and it turned out to be a big awesome freaking thing for us because we had a person who was just cutting all day. That was his job,
Wow.
and now we're so much more efficient. We can cut in 1 hour what used to take all week, and so it's so much faster. So we have laser cutters that cut the foam out for our straps, and the big fabric cutter that cuts all the parts out for
Yeah.
literally everything we make. So that was a
Wow.
big thing for us.
Next one is last thing you Googled or chatted about related to your business.
Oh boy, that's like ongoing every day, all day. Um, so I mean, we're adding DTF printing to our lineup, so we can do a lot of our own custom shirts. So you want to get a sun hoodie with your own logo on it for your
Yeah.
podcast or your YouTube channel, we can do that. So we actually just got that up and running within the
Oh,
last few
sweet.
weeks. So a lot of research on DTF printing and design considerations, and because I want to make some videos now explain people how to design for your own DTF prints, so we
Is
can
it?
do it for you, or we can do it. But
Yeah.
so that's DTF printing. Don't Google DTF printing. Don't Google DTF. It's not what you think it is. It's direct to film is what it is. So you can Google direct to film printing. Google that.
Okay. Google that. Google that. I will make sure that I don't Google
All
whatever
right.
that is. Next one is worst trail snack you've ever tried.
Trail snack. I'm not a real picky eater. I'll eat anything.
So what's your favorite one then?
You
Maybe
know,
that one will help easier.
beef jerky. Like we grab snacks on the like at the gas station on the way to the trail, so it could be
Yeah.
nuts, beef jerky. Very very simple, easy to grab.
Yeah. All right. Next one is this. I always love this one just because it's interesting to hear people's perspective. Is if you could collaborate with any brand, who would it be and why?
So I'm actually, we have several friends in the business that we talk to quite a bit. Devin from Backcountry Exposure, we talk to him a
Mhm.
lot. He was just sharing ideas. We don't really collaborate on gear, but we talk a lot. Chad from UGQ is a good friend. We talk a lot about business and behind the scenes stuff. And me and Chad talk a lot about our websites and SEO things. That was really
Yeah.
beneficial to both of us. We just met Dutch from Dutchware Gear, who we've actually worked with for the last 3 or 4 years, but now we finally met in person. He came down the shop, and so I'm constantly trying to network with people, and it's not always
Yeah.
to make a dollar with that relationship, but sometimes just sharing knowledge between the two of us, and just a common, just trying to find some common ground where we can both benefit from knowing each other. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm trying to steal their ideas, and I'm trying to steal mine, but just
Mhm.
fleshing out my own ideas and having them think or dwell or comment on my ideas is helpful.
Yeah. That's cool. All right. Second and last question: the most used piece of gear in your life right now.
Let's see. I don't I love using it's like my fanny pack. I use it more than I thought I would. I never thought I'd use a fanny pack backpack.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd be that guy, and I use it on every trip. I can't imagine not using it. But as far as everyday use, I do have a backpack that I made that was based off of our 24/7. I
Mhm.
made it with a sleeve for a laptop. I use it every single day. So my daily driver, anything backpack or hilltop related, would be my backpack that I made for my laptop.
Okay. Awesome. All right. And the last question is, what's one outdoor skill you still kind of suck at?
Fire, fire, and yeah,
Surviving
yes,
life.
surviving is probably the one I suck at. Me and Tim, we built a fire a few weeks ago. We went on a trip to where was that? Dolly's? No, that was Quebec Run. Yeah, Quebec Run. And we tried to build. It took us 4 hours to get this fire going. The ground was wet in our defense, but yeah, Tim knows what he's doing, and he still sucked at it. So, it was pretty bad. So, can I build a fire? Of course, but the conditions I would love for them to be much more perfect
Yeah.
than they usually are. So, yeah.
That's great. Well, I mean, thank you so much, Ben. I mean, I appreciate you being on, taking the time. I know you're busy, especially running so many businesses. Like, I don't know how, like, I only run two, and
And
you
good
run like
people.
six or seven.
Good people,
So,
I have good people that run all those businesses.
yeah,
I just do the parts I like, the marketing, the
yeah,
branding, the product design. They handle the business every day.
yeah. That's cool. Well, I appreciate you being on. And Ben, where can people find Hilltop Packs if they're looking for anything from you guys?
Hilltoppacks.com, and we're on every platform, TikTok. You're not gonna find us dancing or anything on there, but we're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We post on Instagram and Facebook pretty much once, twice a day. YouTube, we post a lot of stuff on YouTube every week. But yeah, we're easy to find. You just Google us and we're gonna pop up.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And everybody, thank you for listening to Beyond the Trailhead this week. And we can't wait for next week with our next guest. And Ben, again, thank you so much. And we'll see you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, man.